People, how y'all doing? I'm back again Monday for another quick video. I thought I just I took a Rick to the airport a while ago and just waking up from another nap, trying to get back on. Well, it's going to be a while before I get back on schedule because I've been up all night the last 2 nights, talking to Rick, playing records, watching video, and vibing like a mother. And so I thought, well, what would be fun is to show you some of what we've been listening to and talking about. And I'll also tie it in with today I took him out shopping one more time, because he likes antiques, and then he buys stuff. He's a real family man, Showed me his picture of his 21-year-old daughter. She's just a peach. And so he's buying stuff for her. So while we're out junking with Rick, I bought 2 records for $2. One was for $2 and one for $6. I got this Rage in Eden by Ultravox for $2 in really pretty decent shape. The record's in great shape. I used to have this, and so I like it. I popped it on The Voice, Midge-Uri. I've always liked his voice, and that song, The Voice. So I got this today while he was junking, and the next one I can tie into starting to show what we were listening to. I found an original copy of My Goals Beyond. Now, I was sharing I don't know when it was, earlier this year or last year, someone had bought a very nice copy of this. And then I think maybe it was Marty, Mr. Platypus, possibly, 69. And then I showed my reissue copy on vinyl. And so when I saw this today for $6, and it's there's a little bit of ring wear, not much. I thought but the record is in just about perfect condition. I said, okay, even though I already have it on vinyl, I said it in the video, I really do love this cover and wish I had an original copy, so I bought it. This was nice. Which takes me to the first music that we listened to after the show Saturday night, because Rick stayed with me. He stayed with the drummer when he first got in town, but at the show, the Brothers is close to where I live, and then it turns out that Rick he's just real. He didn't want to stay out in suburbia. Rick has Tim, the drummer, has a nice home with a pool and stuff, really nice. He's trying to, raise his kids with the good life, you know what I mean. And Rick really enjoyed the family, but it was so cool how when we were having coffee before the show, he's like, hey, I just kind of said, well, I'm really close by. You could stay with me. Could I? And it's like, Rick likes it on the real side. And then once been hanging with him, man, he ain't nothing but a real dog, you know what I'm saying? So we get to talking about music, and I asked him, is there anything you'd really like to hear? We were still all hyped up and shit, and I'm ready for, some kind of heavy punk request or something like that. And he said, Birds of Fire. I said, man, I'm in heaven. This is my brother. So the first thing we listened to, as we proceed to get good and stoned on weed, that's all any of us do. Tim likes to drink. I don't. Rick's done everything. He's sober now, smoking some herb. I don't want to hear from none of y'all people that don't understand. Birds of Fire was fantastic listening to it with Rick. He picks up the guitar and starts playing the first dun 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 right along with the record. Just my kind of guy. Then we're just talking about music, just babbling about it. He's got a million stories. He really has met and hung out and played with a lot of people, a lot of legendary people. Hadn't played with Bowie, but we got to talking about Bowie. And I had this out. We didn't get to it, but he's a huge Bowie fan. Excuse me. What we did end up listening to last night, Sunday night, was most of Diamond Dogs. And he told me about how Diamond Dogs was a huge influence on quite a few songs that he wrote back in the day. I was just really, oh, okay. I'll try this. I can kind of go somewhat in order. The next thing that was cool is he was like kind of looking at stuff on my shelves and stuff, just, again, appreciatively freaking on my record collection, And then he noticed that I had Mudvayne videos. And I said, oh, you dig Mudvayne? And he just went into great detail about the effect that the video for their song Dig had on him, because it's very It's very in your face and visceral, and it's really cool. Still looks. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and he said, "Can you watch it, please?" I have it, and I hadn't watched it in a long time, and it's so neat how being with other people and getting their perspective really kind of sometimes saves your butt, because I was about to feel like maybe I should be embarrassed for liking Mudvayne, because I really like him a lot. And when this came out, I was kind of on a Mudvayne kick and bought quite a few things by him on DVD and stuff. Went and saw him, and they were great live. And watching this with Rick the other night, it was like, wow, this hasn't dated at all. This is really, really powerful, and the music is really good. So we watched this, and then we watched the making of the video. Rick is a music geek. He's one of us. He's one of us. The next thing, I'm gonna run and grab it. Damn it, I'm gonna run and grab it. Coming, here I am. I just, rather than start over, it's like, let me just get this together, okay? Another very, very, very gratifying experience of this visit with Rick was how much interest he had in my work. I'm quite used to being demure, and I'll wait for opportune moments, to ask sometimes if you'd like to hear or see something I've done. And actually, I've gotten to the point, actually for many years where I won't even do it, when I meet people in certain situations. You know how some people are really gung-ho. You want to hear my song? Hey, I want you to see this, no. And so he wanted to see what I've done, and he knew about the Mark Burgess from talking about stuff. He knows the Chameleons, and so he asked to see the show. So I showed the DVD. This is Mark Burgess, June 28th, is it? Is it June 26th, 2003 at Omaha's Healing Arts Center. Live and acoustic with special guest Dereck Higgins. This DVD was put together not professionally, but it was put together. But the thing is, it's not for sale. It's a souvenir. And so there's just a handful of copies of these. I have one. Mark Burgess has one. The promoters of the show have one. But it's not on the market. This is something really rare I have. So we watched quite a bit of this. And Rick is also like me. He's very humbly but honest. He's humbly honest, and he really liked it. And his feedback has been very helpful, actually. The critical feedback that musicians need to give each other. Rick's pretty diplomatic about it. He's been doing this for 30 years, Plus, I always can listen to someone and heed their advice. I listen to everyone, but if you can show me from experience or show me what it is you're talking about, I have even more respect for you, as opposed to someone who just says, well, you should do this. But if I ask them, well, could you show me how to do it? They wouldn't have a clue. But Rick is one of those kind of people who can show you. He can play all the instruments, bass, drums, guitar, keyboards. He's done it on many records. And that's my kind of person, okay? I'm going to skip forward to yesterday because it was another extension of him wanting to see more of my work. I had a chance to talk to him about, the fact that I work in film. I've worked in film a little bit. I do work in film. I just did some work. I will be doing more. I will. The cosmos willing that I remain alive to do these things. There's plans to do more film work. And so he asked to see the film April Showers. And so we watched this, and I had an epiphany. I did not expect. I was actually, when he said, let's watch this, I was getting ready to make all these excuses about the shortcomings of the movie. It was like I saw this movie for the first time. I did the wardrobe for this entire movie. This movie is about Columbine. It's based on the true story of Columbine. The director, writer of this movie was a friend of the guys that did the shooting at Columbine. So this is based on his story. We did this movie in 2008. And it was released in 2009. It was shot here in Nebraska on a shoestring budget with just a few known actors like Tom Arnold and Daryl Sabara, and a whole lot of locals and a lot of local talent on the crew, including me. They had seen my work on Lovely Still, Nick Fackler's movie, where I was the wardrobe assistant. And I got hired to take care of the entire wardrobe for this, to put it together. And I had an assistant. And so we watched this, and it was incredible. This is such a good movie. It moves slow, folks, but this is the real deal. We actually, I say we, the production team, which I was a part of, we fought hard against an R rating, which we got because, this fucking sad fucking country, I'm gonna let it loose, doesn't want the truth known. They didn't want the kids to see what really happened here. You always get a version in the news about what happens. You don't get the truth. And the truth was that the media, the local media and the national media slimed the families and the students here trying to get the story. They just, it's here on the video. You see it. That's one of the plots of this story, is how the media just are so disrespectful to the families, desperate to get this scoop. But we both cried almost all the way through this movie. And it was like I was not able to, but I watched it along with Rick for myself, like through the first time. But watching it with Rick, who's a movie buff, I mean, he loves movie, and he was going on about movies like music, like some of you guys can do, like I can't. And he praised it. He said, all I can say about this is real. This is heavy. That was the word he said. He said one word review, heavy. I was so honored to watch this with Rick and to see my own work, and also to see, because again, that was something that we talked about a lot, which is why Rick is not more well known, because he's always done it for the sake of the do. He really is a dude. He does music and does art because that's what he wants to do, rather than go to college and do a 9-to-5 job. This is what he's been doing. He's just been chasing this dream all his life, and he's in it for the real, not in for the phony. He doesn't give a shit about money. I don't give a shit about money. You know what I'm saying? This is wonderful, and yet we both can make money, and that's what's cool. And I'm thinking, man, shit, I can definitely make some money with Rick. You know what I'm saying? And we don't even care. It's like we need the money. It's the moment. It's the doing of. The mutual respect that I feel coming from Rick already, just after a few days hanging out with him, is just incredible. This was so you can see this on Netflix, all major movie outlets, anywhere you can get a movie, you can get this, people. The cast, every single piece of clothing except for the cops and the SWAT, I either dressed those people, all the extras I had to approve them, but all the cast, I assembled the wardrobe, chose the look of it according to what the director was looking for. Some of the cast are even wearing clothes out of my my personal wardrobe. Okay, like matter of fact, the shirt that I was wearing, it was amazing. The shirt that I wore for the show Saturday night, which I still had on most of Sunday, was one of the shirts that was from the movie. It's one of the custom made T-shirts for the movie. So that was kind of surreal when I realized that, because there was nothing planned about it. It was just so many really cool, surreal things like that happened this week, this weekend with Rick. Really cool things that let me know, yeah, we vibe on a deeper level. So cool. So then, talking about music, the last thing that we watched as we're trying to go to bed at 5 in the frickin' morning, and I just finally said, Rick, I gotta try to go and get in my bed before it's daylight or I'm fucked. So the last thing we did is we watched the DVD of Innie and just were transfixed. We're like doing bongs at 4 in the morning, you know what I'm saying, and looking and watching Sigur Rós and just, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I mean about this band. And, it was the first time that I watched the DVD all the way through, and I didn't make it to the end. Fucking beautiful. And we mused about this music, about how this music is like grass growing in a field, like water just flowing in its body. This music exists. It's just like these people get up in the morning this is music they're making. It's just so natural. And that's why it's so deeply beautiful. Sigur Rós. That was fantastic to watch that with Rick, and just get a righteous, you know, early morning buzz. You folks that don't approve of pot don't give a motherfucking shit. I love weed, okay, and I don't smoke it too much, so I'm just not having any criticism and judgment of me here. Because, you know, you folks that want to criticize me and talk about how I do, you don't know me. I'll put one thing in here. You know, you want to criticize somebody, get the mirror out and get busy on your own goddamn self. And even you folks, all of my friends, y'all need to do it too, because I'm doing it. Rick said something neat. I love how people have things to say that are helpful. I said things that he would go, whoa, wow. He said things like that, whoa, wow. He said one little neat little thing that I'm thinking already in a different way, but he said it in a way that I thought was real cool. He said, we're all growing. We're all growing. Just so simple. He's right. We're all growing, you know. And so me and some of my venom and bile that comes out, it's part of me growing, you know, getting to a calmer place. But yeah, I'll spit out some disgust every now and then still. So we didn't get to these, but he's a big Sun Ra fan. So I pulled these hoping we would get to them. These DVDs, The Magic Sun. It's a film by Phil Nyblock featuring the music of Sun Ra. And it's black and white and it's real impressionistic. This is really cool. So we talked about it, but we didn't get to it. And then I showed him this, Space is the Place. And I said, well, yeah, you just got to see this sometime. Sun Ra, Space is the Place. This is dope. One other thing we did get to watch, and it was awesome to watch, it was The Story of Keith Moon. The Real Keith Moon BBC documentary. Now, this video collection is a bootleg that a friend put together for me. And we only watched the first item, which is the documentary. And it was pretty cool. I mean, you know, Keith Moon, in a way, was the template for people like Rick and other crazy rockers, because Rick is one of those people who's gone up to the edge several times and should be dead, you know. And he's come back, you know, and he's really on the mend in a major way. If any of you have looked at some of the videos of him in recent years where he's huge like a house and out of his mind, you know, it's like he's a moon type, but he doesn't have to die. And in a way, Keith Moon died for a lot of us, showing us the way. Not that he knew that's what he was doing, but you know what I mean? We talked about that. Talked about all these friends he has, all these people you would not expect that are friends and fans. The fact that Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth are huge Adolescence fans and used to go to a bunch of their shows. He's friends with David Lee Roth. He's hung out many times with Eddie Van Halen, among others. Mind-blowing to find out. Dave Grohl is a good friend of his. We're talking about Scream. Dave Grohl is not on this album. Scream apparently really recently got back together. And out of all this punk history that Rick is a part of, he had never heard Scream. He had never heard this album. And he'd never heard these songs until they did this reunion show that Dave Grohl showed up for. And Rick was talking about how it was just an absolute blowaway. So, man, it feels like I've just started talking. I'm looking at the time. I won't agnew you people out, but there's a whole lot more that I can share with you. There was so much talking about, and I was so in the moment that Cool Ranch dressing I did forget to ask. But the thing is, Rick is my friend, and I can talk to him at any time. You know, I just can call him on the phone here when I think about it, and I'll ask him, hey, man, tell me about, you know, holding that dead cat. Is it cat or squirrel on the cover? I'll ask him about that. Okay.